Welcome back to the Real Quick with Mike Swick podcast. Today's guest is Vera, Brandon the Truth Vera. He is the one championship world heavyweight champion at the moment. He's a guy that I have spent some time with in my career. We have fought on the same cards. We've had some experiences together. He's probably one of the most positive guys in the sport, one of the most inspirational guys in the sport, a real doer, a go-getter, a guy that goes out there and loves to make a difference. You can't talk to this guy without smiling and having a good time, and I think this is going to be a great conversation. I've been wanting to get him on the podcast for a while, so let's get this going. All right, Brandon Vera, welcome to the show, buddy.
How you doing, Mike? Good to see you, bud.
Good, man. It's been a minute, as the kids say.
Super minute. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's been a long time, but I'm following you. I see you on IG. I see what you're doing, bud. Congratulations on the thing.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
How are you doing? What have you been up to?
Farming, getting the house ready for a new baby coming.
Oh, wow.
Training.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Congrats, bro. So you're in Guam right now, right?
Yes, sir. We are in Guam. Yeah.
So that's right outside of... Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. We're between Philippines and Guam all the time. So it is about 3.5 hour flight. And when the pandemic was about to cause lockdown around the world, what was he, Mama? Our baby doctor, our OBGYN over there said, either go to Guam or go to the province. Yeah. And the province was going to take about 12 hours to get to. Guam was going to be 4 hours. So we bounced the most direct route. Gotcha,
man. So you're definitely safe from the coronavirus, I think, over there, man. I think it's pretty low, isn't it? I mean, I don't think there's much in Guam and Micronesia, and I don't know about Philippines, but it's probably a little bit worse in the Philippines.
Philippines is bad, brother. Like the number, it's like 1,000. It was 1,000 plus one day, then 800, then 500, then 800 new cases.
Wow.
Per day. Here in Guam, it's really, really small island family base. They've had 5 deaths total, and I think a total of 170 something cases.
Yeah.
So it's really, really controlled here. Yeah.
Shockingly, like Thailand, man. Thailand's had a really low amount of cases.
That's awesome. And I was wondering how Thailand was doing.
Yeah, it's good,
man.
Like
over there.
They haven't had many new cases in a long time, so they're opening everything up right now. The malls are open, everything's open. The gym's going to be open, and some gyms are open now, but it's like the rules are so stringent that it's not worth risking people's health because you can't touch trainers. So in other words, you can't do Thai pads, you can't do any kind of like real work. It's like you can do the same thing on YouTube. So why have to pay a gym to go do like shadow boxing and kick in a bag and fitness stuff that you can do?
Corner.
Yeah. So like it's like I'm not gonna charge people for that, and then plus the safety still. Give it a little bit more time. Everything seems to be cooling down. So some gyms are open here, but officially we're gonna be able to open I think June 15th, where we can actually put on Muay Thai programs and then get back. I think it's gonna start out with Muay Thai. I think no clinching, and then just Thai pads, Muay Thai, and then I think they'll ease into like clinching, and then eventually MMA and BJJ will be the last thing. I mean, think about it, bro. BJJ and MMA is like that's the most intimate thing you can do next to the other intimate thing you can do.
You're absolutely correct.
So, like, I think that's going to be the last thing that they're going to allow safely. So it's crazy. But, yeah, it's getting back, man. I'm excited. Thank you, man.
Congratulations, brother. June 15th. That's really awesome. I promise you, especially with everything going on around the world, the goal is to travel and go see more. So I've been saying it for a long time. I've been wanting to come down to AKA and hang out in Thailand and see what's going on over there. And man, it's gorgeous. So I want to come visit and come hang out. Well, I'll make sure the family comes when we get out this year, probably next year for sure. Yeah. We'll come out there and see what's going on, brother. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm gonna hold you to that, man. I've been trying to get you to come down here, so you'll have fun, man. We'll show you the island, man. We'll show you the whole setup and then the gym and everything. It'll be something for everybody, dude. The whole family. Like, I mean, there's so much cool stuff to do in Phuket, and it's so affordable now, man. Like, it's always been affordable for like this type of destination. I mean, if you go to like something comparable to like the Caribbean or Hawaii, something like that, it's way cheaper anyway. And then now with the coronavirus, man, it's going to be like, I mean, there's so many businesses going under and hotels barely staying alive. So it's like, it's unfortunate, but it's going to be very, very reasonable to come after this thing is over. I think it's going to be a big boom.
I'm with you 100%. I think because of the virus and everybody staying home and being forced into a situation that they're not accustomed to, this outside stressor that nobody can get out of, brother. I'm with you. I think when this is, as soon as they say, okay, there's going to be maybe 1 or 2 months that's slow. But then after that, I think it's going to be full bore. Everybody's using all their vacation days. Everybody's cashing in whatever they can cash in. And the businesses that do survive and can make it through this turmoil, man, they're gonna be the next big thing. They're going to be the next Fortune 500 company. So yeah, it's the way of the world, man. Like, we've been around enough. We can see that this is a cycle, man. It just happens. It's unfortunate, but it's going to happen.
It's a good lesson to entrepreneurs like myself, because like you always, like I've always been good about preparing for the worst and stuff like that. But like the worst was never this bad. Like you could never predict that like I would build this big gym, and then like not only would like nobody come, but the government would shut down the gym and then shut down the airport where all your customers can't even come to the island. Like that's like so beyond the worst case. And so luckily I prepared for like slightly less of a worst case, which is good because it's carrying me over and like helping me survive. But like, God, like from now on, I'm going to prepare for like the worst. I'm going to prepare for the apocalypse, dude, for like a year. Like I'm going to have so much preparation going into this after this, man, because like you just never know, dude. This just came out of nowhere. I mean, it was booming. Record-setting January, record-setting February, record-setting March. And then just in the middle of March, boom, nothing. Just like we were shut down in a week. It was like, holy shit, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, brother. Alliance Philippines, we're supposed to be finishing up the last parts and bringing equipment in and doing the final stages. The pool was up, the glass was going in on the pool, and then Corona. And then like you said, you can only prepare so much, and nobody ever thought it was going to be like this. So, brother, I don't know if there's going to be, our facility's built. It's there, but I don't know if there's going to be the crowd for a gym. They still have 800 cases, 500 cases a day. Yeah. I don't know what to do with that, Like, I don't know how to make sense of that yet. So I'm still wrapping my head around.
Talk about adding salt to the wound, man. Like, so then you got America with 1.8 million cases, 107,000 people dead, and then all of a sudden following the coronavirus, when you've lost your revenue and barely lost your business or did lose your business over the last 3 months, now all of a sudden, because of this absolutely ridiculous, horrific incident, now it's riots. So now it's like now your people are fighting to like get people to stop like breaking their windows and stuff. Like it's I know you've been posting a lot about this too, and it's like it's tough, man, because it's like there's got to be change. That's for sure. And, there hasn't been enough change since 91. There hasn't been enough of this wouldn't happen. So there has to be change. And, of course, when you burn a city down, that's going to make a big statement. So it's like, what do you do? It's like such a hard thing. You want to go out there and just fight and make a statement. But at the same time, you're hurting everything and hurting innocent people. I'm seeing innocent people get killed in front of their businesses that are just trying to protect their businesses for their family. It's crazy.
Trying to save their own,
Yeah, they didn't do anything,
So for me, we understand violence, I understand the need for it. And if I understand violence does beget more violence.
Yes.
There is a time that violence is needed and necessary. Mm-hmm. That time would have been exactly at the moment when the gentleman was on the ground in that situation and the officers were not paying attention or doing it intentionally, Mm-hmm. That would have been the time for violence. That specific moment to save a life. The violence now sorry. I just think the violence now is senseless. That doesn't make sense to me now, what's going on. The reform is definitely needed. It's absolutely necessary. And I think because of technology, man, the whole world got to see it, you know. And whether you believe into any conspiracy theories or not, like, reform is needed. It is absolutely needed. I'm all for reform. But I'm not, you know, as a business owner, as a small business owner, and having to watch my family go through riots and have to go to the business and hold weapons at the ready. I understand, like, man, we're working. You've seen the video. They're trying to get by. Like you might, like, we've saved, we've earned, we've broke our backs trying to make this happen, you know, and then all of a sudden you guys are mad at whatever and you destroy what we worked so hard for. Like, come on, man, that's not fair. So where does the good person in all of this fit in, you know? Why are they suffering?
Yeah, so and I see you've been posting a lot of stuff too. So it's like there's so many sides to this, but I agree with you completely, man. Inciting riots and stuff and like burning stuff down. At least there's some important people that are speaking out right now and like trying to make, you know, trying to be mature about it and show that this isn't going to help. I think in general, I think we know from history, man, like hate and violence is never fixed. Hate and violence. There's only one place that happens, and that's in the cage. You know what I mean? Like, we can not hate, not hate so much, but violence will fix violence for us. You know what I mean? Like, we fight, and then we're cool.
And then we're best friends.
Then we're best friends. But aside from like cage fighting, I can't think of many situations where violence and hate has fixed problems in the past and not created more hate and violence. And it's a mess, man. It's a mess.
People are just. I understand people are frustrated, just, you know, and it goes all the way back. So people want to say it's systematic racism, systematic classism, you know. I don't know what it's called, chasticism, where you're born into a class or once you're. I believe we all just need more education. I believe we just need to be shown a path. You know, we need to be shown option A, B, and C, you know? Like, we've been fortunate, Mike, in our line of profession, we had options. If you slip left, you have 3 things to do here. If you slip right, you have 3 or 4 things to do from here.
Right.
So all of that we get to use that in our daily lives, you know? Most people in their daily life, they only know one way. The hard way and banging their head against the wall until it gets done their way, you know? I think we just all need to help each other more. I don't know how that is or what that is, but I think if we help educate each other more, it'd be a much more productive society and world, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I agree with you 100% for sure. And yeah, it's tough. It's a tough one, man. It's definitely tough when you have this kind of thing going on. And but yeah, we have to solve it, man. And like, we have to get it solved. And just coming on the tail end of this COVID-19 is just the worst timing ever. You know, now it's just, if it wasn't close to apocalypse then, it's definitely looks like apocalypse now. So it's like, I hope this thing, you know, I hope these cops get charged and justice is served where people can see that they're charged like everybody else. They get the punishment they deserve, and then maybe that'll bring restitution to everybody where they're like, okay, they got punished, they were wrong, and we can look. And the thing is, if people just think ahead, man, like look back like 50 years, look back 100 years at the races and how separate they were, and then look now at how interracial people are, like how many mixed races there are. So you have to assume, bro. I'm not saying I can't give a timeline, but you have to assume the future. We're going to all look the same. We're going to all be the same. We're just going to keep mixing in this world, this bowl of, like, you know what I mean? Eventually, 100 years, 200 years, I don't know exactly how long, we're all going to be the same. We're going to look the same. We're going to all be mixed. We're going to all be, you know, it's going to be rare to see like a authentic, just solid brown or white or black person because everyone's going to be, you know. So it's like, if you think about it like that, we're all going to be one eventually. We might as well get ahead of ourselves and just start now. The hate, there's no need to keep extending the hate, and that goes for all sides. And I know you can't just sit there and say to one side stop hating and then the other side not. But it's I just wish it'd fast forward. But man, anyway, that's the negative stuff. But I'm gonna get back to you. I'm gonna get back to you because I know a lot about you, hanging out with you, and we've fought on the same card. Right. We fought on the same card 2 times. We fought on the same card, UFC 60, UFC 105. UFC 60, dude, we were killing it. I did the Swickotine on Joe Riggs, and then you you followed up with Asurio Silva, and you got a guillotine too, man. We both got guillotines on the same night, dude. We were so happy.
I remember, Mike. I remember, man. It was such a good time. Every time I was just telling my wife about it right now. I said, man, it was good seeing Mike because, you and I, we didn't know each other. We didn't train together, But when we saw each other, we always said hello, and it was just good vibes all the time. You know what I mean? Like nobody was trying to one up anybody or trying to be better than the other. We was in there really just having a good time, man. And it's always been awesome knowing you, Mike, and fighting on the same cards as you because that vibe is very hard to find. Very, very hard to find, especially back in the day when everybody's just trying to be a tough guy.
Yeah. Same for you, man. It's funny. I mean, I feel the same way because like there's certain people you meet and like you get a bad vibe, or certain people you meet and it's just kind of a chill vibe, like you don't know them, they don't know you, and they keep it like that, Then there's those people you meet like you. It's like when we never really hung out a lot outside of the gym, but when we meet, we click so well. You know what I mean? And like we can just sit and talk as if we were friends for like 10 years. It's crazy. It's weird to explain, but me and you had that vibe, and I still don't know how we had it so good, but I totally love hanging out with you, man. It's always positive. I always feel good, and we were winning fights, and it was good, man. It was exciting. We were having some good times.
Yeah, Mike. Thanks, brother. I appreciate that, man. It was funny because I was just talking about that. Yeah. Just, man, ever since then, and then no matter where we were at or what we were doing, if we were up or if we were down, we always said hello to each other. Always, always, always.
Yeah.
So it was cool, man. Very cool, brother.
Yeah, definitely. So, but I never knew like a lot of your history coming in. So like you grew up, and I heard you grew up with like a real big family, right? Like, so you had a lot of siblings and stuff when you were growing up. How was that?
Yeah. Man, it was absolutely amazing, bro. Like we never joined a gang. Like you if you needed extra help, you would just call your cousins. There was 7 boys and 3 girls in my family. Not immediate. There's stepbrothers and stepsisters, but we never call each other stepbrother, stepsister. That's my family. That's my sister and that's my brother.
Yeah.
So, man, whenever we had a problem, someone was gonna solve it. You know what I mean? Like somebody in our what's that called, chain of command, to take care of the problem. And family it was really, business. Brother, it was so nice to know that the family had your back. You didn't have to wonder. You knew it's family. They're coming. They said they'll be there in 3 minutes. They show up in 2. So it was very, very nice, man. And then, having a family that big, you got to see mistakes, or people got to teach you about mistakes before you made them, so you didn't have to repeat. So it was a nice education. And man, that's not just one way. I'm talking about my younger brothers, my younger sisters had done stuff even during middle school, high school years that I knew I should have been doing, So the whole family got to see a whole different perspective from all 12 of us, all 10 of us, and all the cousins and all the nephews.
Yeah, I was.
You were only child?
I was the only child, dude. So like, if I got in trouble and stuff, I just like waited for people to show up, and like nobody showed up, dude. I'm just like, yo, where's my family? And like nobody showed up, dude. Small town Texas. So I just had to like put up my Dukes like 30 style boxing, kick off my boots, and just do it old school style, dude. Take my lumps. Yeah, bro. Dude. Yeah, it's crazy. It was sad sometimes. Yeah, but you know what? You know what? Hey, you know what though, dude? I was like, it was awesome because I was so spoiled because like, when you have all the time, so no matter where I was, I never had to share that time with brothers and sisters. But now it's like it's kind of made it hard for my life because like, I'm sitting next to my friend or something, and like if I get something and he gets something, I'm just like looking at him like, I want that too.
That's nice.
Why you get that too, man? I'm supposed to get that. Like what is this shit? Why I got to split half with you just because you're my friend? It's crazy, man. So I didn't get to learn that sharing is caring thing till like later on. So that's why I said.
That's all right. For a while, you were fighting for a while.
That's why I was fighting. I was so angry for being an only child. I was fighting everybody, dude. All those bullies. It's funny, man.
The bullies. Hey, Mike. So you had bullies too growing up, huh?
Sometimes, periodically, yeah. Because I moved schools a lot. So yeah, I did. It wasn't like crazy bad, but like it definitely. I definitely experienced it enough to understand what bullying is about, and like it's tough, man. It's tough. I got 2 little girls now, and like seeing.
Congratulations, Mike.
Yeah.
That's
They're
cool.
they're getting older, man. But it's scary because like now, I see other stuff that's going on. There's the show 13 Reasons Why that was on Netflix. I watched that show, and it really went into the whole bullying and school systems now and stuff. And it's like, it's scary, man, to see like what these kids go through, because I went through probably a lot less than what kids go through now. And so it's like scary to know what I'm going to have to face with my daughters and with kids these days. So it's like, yeah, it's man, kids can be evil, bro. I thought they were kind of rough back when I was growing up, but man, nowadays you're talking about people committing suicide and like, getting, especially with social media being so big, like people can get really hurt. Like not just like a name calling at school. You go home and 4 people heard it. It's like stuff posted on the internet and like trying to ruin your reputation, and
it
it's
went
crazy.
viral.
It's crazy, man. Yeah, it's crazy. So
That's the problem. Like when you and I had bullies as well, but when we got home or when we were somewhere else, we didn't have to worry about them. These kids nowadays, man, they don't get away from it, It's on their phone. Every time they're doing something online, it's there to be a message from someone or, your notification. So for sure, I can see how it's breaking these kids. And the kids today are soft, Mike. Like the kids today, they don't have thick skin. It's not how they were brought up, man. You couldn't spank them because you get the police called on you or CPS or... They're not. That's my favorite part about being in Asia. These kids out here, man, have full-time jobs at the age of whenever they need to make money for the family, So it's a different flavor out here. People understand life isn't always easy. Mainland kids, man, it's been too easy for too long. So even this today, even what's going on right now, it's short-circuiting all of them, They don't know what to do with themselves right now. And without this device in their hand and without them, dude, they wouldn't know what to do if you took this away. For real. Like, they don't go outside and play.
Yeah. Dude, forget go outside and playing. Like, I got to go outside and play, and that's what I chose to do, and that's what I wanted to do more than video games. But, bro, when I came home, I had chores. I had to, like, clean shit out of stalls for horses and lead the horses around and give them their exercise. And, like, dude, I had, like, actual chores. I don't think kids understand these days what chores are. But like I had chores, then homework, then I got to play. And playing for me was like climbing trees and like swimming in the swimming hole in the creek in Texas. Like, you know what I mean? Like that was play for me.
Yeah,
that's why I grew up a little tougher, I guess, than normal.
So having we have our little one on the way. I'm thinking about all of this stuff now, Mike. Like I wasn't worried about this stuff, like you said, but
yeah.
What are we going to do about these devices? Because he has to learn how to use this stuff. Our children are going to have to be very proficient in these things. But also, how do we raise them to have thick skin like we did? Like, I don't know. We're going to have to figure this out. I'm going to be calling you for pointers, too.
Yeah, I don't know,
He's
man.
crying, Mike. He fell down. What am I supposed to do?
I got to have like a barn and horses though to do it my route. There ain't no barn and horses around here. I got kicked by a horse in my stomach, dude, when I was like 12. Like that's how I grew up. Yeah, yeah, dude. That's hard.
What you call cunt. Yeah.
When dude, it's so crazy because like. I never had the. It's funny. Now I was like 10. I think I was like 10. It was before I ever had the wind knocked. Yeah, it was before I ever had the wind knocked out of me. So like, we of course we're fighters now. We know what it feels like to get hit in the solar plex and have the wind knocked out of us, right? So like, I snuck up behind this horse out in the pen. It's a baby. It was a foal, and she didn't see I was coming, so she just popped me with her foot and caught me dead center of my stomach. I had a print and everything, and I went down. And that was the first time I ever experienced losing my wind, So like I'm like crawling like to the house, and I think I'm dying, because I never experienced losing like losing your wind before, so I didn't know what that was all about, So I thought I was like, oh, I'm dead. She got me. This is my last breath. I'm done. I was like I'm like crawling to my house, dude. I'm like, and then like midway through, I just started feeling fine, and I'm like, what? Am I okay? And then I got up and then I looked at this hoof print in my my stomach, and then it was cool. I was like showing everybody, dude. I was like going around showing all my friends, dude. I thought it was like so cool because I got kicked by a horse. But like, yeah, that's my childhood. So there you go. That's that's where I came from, dude.
Dude, that is so awesome, man.
Yeah.
That is really awesome. And I wanted to ask you how you felt like as soon as you started catching your breath back, you started feeling normal again. Like, what did you do? And yeah, that was awesome.
I thought God saved my life. Because I was like half religious at the time, you know, because I was like so young, I didn't really know if I was religious or not and all the whole thing, you know, I was kind of like making my mind up still. And like, I just was like, thank you, God, man. I didn't know you could really do stuff like that. That's awesome. Because I thought I was dead, dude. I thought he was like, I thought he was about to grab me, dude, and pull me right on up, dude. I wasn't going to see my family, wasn't going to see my mom, I wasn't going to eat my last home cooked meal. My mom cooked so good too. I was so hungry, man. He kicked an empty stomach, dude. It was like dead empty. It was just hollow, dude. He just pounded it. And so then like I started crawling and feeling better, man. And I was just like, wow, golly, man, God just saved my life. And I got up and I went and told my mom. She was like, what? You got kicked by a horse? Get out of that stable. You need to quit walking around behind horses. You know better than that. And I'm just like, well, yeah, now, because I got kicked.
Now, thank God that it was just her stomach, man.
Maybe that's like they always say that, you know, us fighters, like something along the path, we curved off a little bit to end up in a cage fighting. Maybe getting kicked by horses when I was 10 years old kind of started that whole like veering off the path of normalcy to like becoming a cage fighter. That could have been a very significant part of that. I don't know.
Bro, so that would have been your curve. I think my curve, I'm going to tell you my curve, just because you said it. And I think this was the curve. When I was growing up, you know, I'm the typical Asian guy. I grew up at the restaurant helping my dad in the ghetto. Like, we grew up in the hood because that's where all the Asian restaurants were, because that's the food that we cook that everybody likes, you know. So,
and wait, this is the hood and where? So just so we know.
In Virginia. So this in Portsmouth. This is in Portsmouth, Virginia.
Okay.
Off of Portsmouth Boulevard, and I don't remember the cross street. But we're in the hood, man. So I'm playing video games. Young, man. I'm young. You know, Asian kid playing video games. I got endless quarters in the back because when I come out the machine, I just grab to go play again. So I'm just playing video games, and this guy comes in and tells me, he says, hey, that's my game. And he was with his friend. And I remember I said, this ain't your game. This is my game, man. You better wait till I'm done. And his friend, I remember his friend started egging him on. Ooh, you're going to let him talk to you like that? You're going to let him talk to you like that? And so he pushed me. And I remember just playing, I tried to ignore him. And I think I was still wearing my apron, man. Like, I don't know how young I was. I'm filling soy sauce bottles. You know, I'm not old enough to cook yet, but I'm sweeping and doing just dumb stuff. And, dude, I kind of pushed him back. Next thing I know, he blasted me in the face hard. And I don't know what's going on. I just got punched. So by the time I look up, his ass is on the video game. This guy's on my video game.
He just took it over.
He just took it over. And I don't remember what happened because I got punched, you know. I was still on my feet. I hit the ground. But I walked to the back, and I told my cousin, they're older than me. It's my twin cousins. They're identical twins, both of them black, Anquan and Briscoe. Both of them were into karate back in the day. You know, they were super hardcore into karate. I'm talking forms, breaking bricks with their hands, like karate guys, you know? Super karate. So, dude, super karate. So then they asked they said, no, man, you got to tell your dad. You got to tell your dad. And I didn't want to tell my dad. I think my cousin probably wanted to jump him or something. I told him, no, you know, probably like, forget that guy, like some little kid thing. Like, no, just let him leave. I'll play later when he's gone. No, we're going to tell your dad. We're going to tell your dad. So they brought me to my dad, and I remember my dad was like, you better go get your game back. So I was like, what? I have to get my game back? That
didn't work so well the first time.
So I remember my dad was like, tell your cousins take you over there. Go get your game back. Dude, I went out there with my cousins, and I told them I need to get my game back. And because my cousins were there, he got off the game. And I got my game back. But that was the first time I stood up for myself. And I did have my family have my back, but That was the first time, like, yo,
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
you're not supposed to let people just take stuff from you, man. Like,
Yeah.
you're not supposed to. And if my cousin didn't have my back, for sure I wouldn't have went, but I went. And to learn the lesson, I got punched in the face for it. I got bullied and I got
Yeah.
punched in the mouth. Yeah, man, I don't want no boss. I don't want nobody telling me what to do. So I need to take what's mine. And that's probably where it came from, that moment,
Yeah.
man. What'd you
So
call it? The curve?
the curve, dude. That's where the veering. That's where we veered off the path of like becoming like 9 to 5, and then like just we'll fight in a cage. That'll be a good business. We'll do that.
Uh,
We'll be fine when we're 40. We'll be fine. We could probably still talk a little bit, maybe do a podcast here or there, perhaps. And then so from that point, from that point till like you started fighting and stuff. What got you into martial arts? Like when did you say I'm gonna start training in martial arts? And then when did you say, all right, I'm gonna do this as like my job, or at least very competitively?
So let's go back. So when you're an Asian kid growing up in the 70s, 80s, there was 2 requirements immediately out the gate. If you're going to be an American Asian kid,
Mm-hmm.
have to play some kind of instrument,
Oh, wow.
and you're probably going to do taekwondo or karate.
Yeah.
So I played the piano, and I took taekwondo just because it was the closest one to the house.
That's how I started. I literally started in taekwondo too. So how old were you? How old were you when you stepped in the karate dojo or the taekwondo dojo?
Man, I was so young that another story that's coming out of this, my very first sparring tournament, your first point sparring tournament, my uncle took me. I cried, bro. I didn't want to do the sparring. I didn't want to get hit. That's how young I was. I don't remember how young, but I was like, I don't want to get hit. I don't want to get hit. So since then, up until maybe, middle school, I started wrestling. I took taekwondo maybe till I ended up eventually getting my black belt, but I came back to get my black belt. I don't remember what I left as. Then I started wrestling in middle school, high school, college. I joined the military. I got on the Air Force team, training at the Olympic Training Center. I became a resident athlete at the Olympic Training Center for the Air Force. From there, I got discharged because of my arm. I had to rehab. It took me 2 years to rehab that bad boy. I started training again, and I started doing Muay Thai, boxing, found out about MMA. I saw Randy Couture whooping people's ass on TV, Ultimate Fighter, and me and Mr. Couture literally 2.5 years ago were rolling with each other, whooping each other's ass on the mats at the Olympic Training Center, and he's just wrestling, controlling everyone, So I was like, oh my goodness, man, I need to check this out.
So
The reason why I ended up fighting, I was watching it with my brother, he's smart. He's a pediatric orthodontic dentist.
mm-hmm.
So he's a smart one in the family. It was just him and me inside the living room watching it on TV, and I was like, Junior, it was Randy Couture during this fight. I said, Junior, what do you think about this, man? My little brother said, the smart one, he said, man, I don't know, man. Those guys are effing crazy, yo. I don't know about that stuff, man. My immediate response was, yo, I think I want to try this, man. I think I want to try this and see what happens. So all the way from taekwondo all the way up to me realizing I want to try this, that's when I came in. I never ever planned to be the world champ. I never ever planned to have a winning streak. I never ever planned for all the fame. I never planned for all of the problems that come with it. I just planned to go have fun, and everything else teaches you learn on the job. In this profession, we learn OJT, on the job training, man.
Yeah.
From contract negotiations to wrong moves in the cage. We learn.
So first, I want to say thank you for your service, man. I've I
Yeah,
definitely I've done a lot of military support tours, man. Been all over the world, Iraq, Afghanistan, stuff to support you guys as much as I could, and you know I appreciate what you guys do. So thanks for your support, man. Big ups for that. And then so you mean to tell me
right.
that training with Randy Couture at the Olympic Training Center is kind of what got you into martial arts, and then I was with you in England when you fought Mr. Couture.
Yeah,
How crazy was that? And dude, before we even get into the fight, because we're gonna probably get in the result, I remember because I lost that night to Hardy, and I was
yes,
sad
sir.
about my loss, dude. And you took a loss too to Couture, but man, I remember thinking, am I wrong in thinking this? Because I remember thinking you won that fight, bro. I remember thinking you won that fight and didn't get the decision for some reason, man. Like I remember talking to you about it because that was a close fight, and I thought you were gonna win when I watched that fight.
Thank you.
Am I right? I mean,
Uh,
it was a close fight, right? Like, I remember thinking that, and I remember having a conversation with you in the elevator about that. But how was that fight in Randy Couture after, like, he kind of got you? And I love Randy, too, no disrespect to him, but
yeah,
how crazy was that to, like, to train with him, such a legend, and get you into the sport, and then one day you fought him as a main event? And
dude, it was, I would say, amazing, crazy, and scary all at the same time. You
yeah,
know, you train with the guy. You know how nasty that guy is.
he's nasty, bro.
There's no other word to describe Mr. Couture. He's just nasty. He's amazing. So that's why I trained so hard for that event, was because, man, I was nervous. I for sure was scared. Because, man, if you go in wrong against Mr. Randy Couture, he can make it really bad for you, you know? He doesn't have to finish you. He can just grind you the whole 25 minutes if he wants to, you know? So,
Yeah.
was it 15 minutes back then? I don't remember.
It was
I don't
15, I
remember.
think, or something. I
But,
think it was 15.
yeah, it was 15. But, you know, it was awesome. It was eye-opening. I learned to keep my mouth closed because right before I got into the cage, I turned to Dana White and I said, "Hey, Mr. White, after I beat your boy, I want that $1 million signing bonus."
Yeah.
So I learned, keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut,
Yeah.
just go do your business. Come out after.
Yeah, it's
But, man, you
crazy,
know,
man.
I feel one thing I want to take back from that event, and Brand, if you're watching this, one thing I never got to take back, man, I did not shake your hand immediately after the fight. I think I was in such disbelief that I walked out and sat down on the stoop right outside of the octagon, and I feel really bad about that. So, Mr. Couture, I'm sorry about that day, but it just was. I think we were all in shock.
Yeah.
I
I
think that's what
remember that,
just.
man.
Yeah.
And I think
Sorry,
anybody that
man.
knows you,
Yeah, sorry, brother. Sorry for the
I,
evening.
and I think anybody that knows you, you don't have to even apologize, man. They know you're a good guy, and you would never do something like that because you're just being mean. And going back to like Randy Couture being nasty, like I think because when I was on the Ultimate Fighter, he was my coach, and what people don't realize is Randy's awesome. He's the nicest guy you've ever met. He's a legend. He's an icon. He's done it all. But when you train with him, like you know how I train. Like I train crazy hard. You know, I push it to the limit. So I did the same with him and everything else. And when you push it to the limit with Randy, he's just nasty, bro. He tries. He's like got the dirty box and he's popping you from like inside outside. He's a nasty dude to get into it with. It's not just
Yeah.
about wrestling and he takes you down and throws a couple punches. Like you understand. But like for the people that don't understand, like for me in my sparring sessions with him, it's like he's just trying to inflict pain on you every way he can. I don't care if it's like shoving his elbow in your rib when nobody can even see, or like just these punches coming from nowhere. Like he's a grinder, bro. Like he does everything it takes.
Dude, just even the way he leans on you the whole time,
Yeah,
man.
with his head, bro. He shoves his head into your face. Yeah, but I remember, bro. I remember that. I was like,
You're just
damn.
carrying his weight the whole time, man.
Yeah. It's just
Yeah.
and it works because you're having to think about all these different things that are hitting you. Like he's jabbing he's suffocating you with his pressure, and then he's jabbing you in the ribs with his elbow. Then his head is so strong because his neck's so strong from wrestling. He's shoving your eye bone in your eye socket with his head, and you're having to still think about like getting out of the position and like trying to do something else. It's like he's you know, you could tell the dude's had some fights. He's been around for a while.
While you're there defending and trying to do everything, all you're trying to say is, breathe,
Yeah. Yeah. At some point, you just want to breathe. It's not even about survival and like beating him. It's like I just want to breathe first, catch my breath,
Breathe.
then win. You know, like then try and win. It's crazy, man. And I like the fact that you talk about the nerves, man, and like how you were scared at certain times because like people have this facade that like fighters never get nervous and scared, and it's how you handle it and how you mature as a fighter to get where we were, where we can get through those nerves and fear and go out there and face them and come out ahead. And then other people can't do that. And that's the difference. But as far as getting scared and having fear, like when I watched The Karate Kid, that's what got me into martial arts. So I watched The Karate Kid and I wanted to be like a rough macho dude and like beat up the bad guys and get the girl. That was like my thing, dude. So I was hardcore, dude. Cause I already got kicked by a horse, dude. I was like, I'm ready, dude. Like I'm ready, bro. Who's gonna kick me with a sidekick, dude? Worse than a horse, you know? I'm like, dude, I'm ready. I mean, I didn't go like beat the horse up, but I was like, I took it, you know, like I took it. So my confidence was at like the highest. And I told my mom, I'm like, I'm gonna be in martial arts. You got to help me out. And she got me like a black belt membership at a Taekwondo gym, which means she paid up until black belt, whatever. They got her good, you know, did the upsell thing. And dude, I was so pumped up. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to this Taekwondo gym. I'm gonna be a badass, and I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna be, you know, this, that, and the other. And dude, when I showed up to the Taekwondo gym, just the painting on the windows, like all that like aggressive like painting and like stuff, scared the shit out of me, bro. I pulled up and I was like, oh shit. And my mom was like, let's go. And I'm like, oh shit, like this is the real deal, dude. It's like all this like crazy painting of like fighters and fighting, and it was like a real dojo, you know. And I was like, it was like
a real Cobra Kai.
It was like Cobra Kai, dude. And I walked in, and it was just like everybody in gis, and like I was like, oh, or the not gis, well I guess gis, but it was like the Taekwondo gis and stuff. And I was just like, oh man, dude, it was crazy. So I had to get over that. But then, like, I was, like, just the sparring guy, dude. I didn't want to do the brick breaking. I didn't want to do the forums. I just love sparring, bro. I was just all the time sparring. I loved the fighting. Never been in fights on the street. Never got in trouble with the cops, nothing like that. I'm not a violent person. But, dude, when it comes to competition, and once you force yourself in there and face the nerves and face the, you know, the fear and everything, and once you get in there and fight, like, I love that feeling, dude. I love to just be one-on-one fighting, and that's when I knew it was my calling, man. I wanted to make a name and be a famous fighter or somewhat famous fighter one day. So that was kind of how
you knew back then, huh?
I did, man. Like I wanted to just, you know what? It was like Chuck Norris was the man back then. You know, of course there was Van Damme and Seagal,
Yes.
so that was like the long-term goal to do movies and stuff, and not take hits, just be famous and make money on movies. But the short-term goal, well, Chuck Norris too. But the short-term goal was like more the early Chuck, like, you know, win the tournaments, get the respect. I wanted to walk into like in between the Taekwondo, kickboxing, and then especially when I got into MMA for UFC. My goal before being a champion and all that, and I never thought I'd get as close as I did, you know, with those two contention fights, but. I wanted to just be able to walk into like a competition, like a UFC event or a Taekwondo event back in that time, and people just to say, "Oh man, that's Mike Swick, dude. He's a good fighter." Like that's all I wanted, dude. I wanted just that respect, you know. And then it just grew from there, and I got in the UFC, started winning fights, and then it became like I wanted to be a champion, and lucky for me, the greatest welterweight of all time happened to be the champion during my era, so that really screwed things up. Sucked. It was like, that was bad timing on my part. But I didn't even get a chance. Hardy beat me, so I didn't even get a chance to fight him. But Hardy got to fight him. But so it's good to talk about that, man, to show that, like, I think, you know, for people out there that are watching and that have that fear and those nerves and that have been bullied, you know, even if you've been bullied and you back down and you didn't want to fight, it doesn't mean you're a coward. It doesn't mean you're weak. We've all been in situations where we've backed out of situations because we're smart enough to understand that it could get very bad. We could get stabbed. We could get shot. Or I could just take a beating that I don't really want to take and then go get kicked by a horse when I get home. You know, so it's like, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't mean you're a coward. It doesn't mean, you know, anything like that. You can still move on and be a fighter. I went on the UFC and won 10 UFC fights. You know, you won a bunch of fights. But at one point, we were in the same situation where, you know, we had bullies and so it's like for those out there, don't let that get you down. You can still pursue it. You can still overcome it like everything else and fight guys that are vicious and killers and beat them and knock them out and keep going, you know. I mean, champion. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's good. I think it's a good point to get across to people, because a lot of people, I think they get that fear that first time, and they think like, oh, I'm not cut out to be a fighter. Don't sell yourself short. Give it a shot. You know, if that's what you want to do. You know, like that's my opinion anyway.
And I would add to that, Mike. Like, listen, even if you have to walk away today, doesn't mean that you can't come back tomorrow, the next week, the next month, the next year. Because I guarantee you right now, all my bullies will probably turn down an open invitation to come challenge me right now. So, you know, like, even though they bullied me when we were younger, I still would own them right now. So stay strong, stay the course, do what's right. And, man, I promise you it's going to get easier. Just stay the course. Bullies, for sure, don't ever make it.
All right, guys, I want to thank our sponsor, AKA Thailand, the world's premier luxury training resort here in Phuket, Thailand. This has been my passion project for, over 15 years. You know, from thought to design to building it to be the perfect gym in the perfect location. I'm so proud of where it's at, and how many of you that's came in and enjoyed it, and the changes that it's made, the success stories. So please check it out. If you don't know what AKA Thailand is, if you haven't heard of it, if you haven't seen it, if you haven't looked at our Instagram, here's a video to give you an idea.
What's up, everybody? I am here in Thailand. This is the first time I've ever been here. Been dying to come here for years. The great Mike Swick, he's one of the big reasons he's been trying to pull me down here. What he built down here, AKA Thailand, is incredible. There's people here from all over the world. You can train mixed martial arts here, jiu-jitsu. They have weightlifting, they have cardio, and obviously they have Muay Thai, boxing, everything. I'm telling you guys, I know everybody wants to go to Thailand because Thailand's so cool, but you can't come to Thailand without coming to AKA Thailand. Come on.
Yeah, so you're in you've won 4 fights, and then you had the last fight, and then what's next? Like, what's next for you?
So we already lined up to face Mr. Oh my goodness, brain part, Mr. Arjan Bullard, for our heavyweight title defense.
Okay.
Back at heavyweight, not at light heavyweight. The last outing was at light heavyweight against Mr. Angsa. Champ. Amazing go. It was really, really awesome. A good time, fun. I think for the remainder of my career, I am staying at heavyweight. I'm not cutting any more weight again. That's for the birds. I don't need to do that anymore.
Well, you're the champ at heavyweight, man. No need to switch off, you know? Go where you're comfortable.
Yes, sir. But, you know, it was something that I've always wanted to try. And, you know, Mike, like you said, we're go-getters. You know, we take what's ours. And I've always wanted to own 2 titles in 2 different divisions, 2 different weight classes. You know, I'm not saying anything about the weight cut. I'm not saying anything about the actual event, other than it both amazing. Everything went well. Sometimes things just don't go your way. And then afterwards, I was thinking, like, I don't know if I want to cut weight anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of cutting weight anymore at all.
Yeah.
So I'm good at heavyweight now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good, man. So do you know if one has any plans to have any more shows coming up, or without audiences or anything, or any kind of news on that at all? Or
So I've heard rumors, but I haven't heard anything yet. So
official, yeah.
No good rumors to substantiate, you know, because, man, rumors at one championship kind of don't pan out. You have to wait till they actually tell you what's happening.
Yeah,
so I'm hoping small studios, maybe small closed door events would be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
As an athlete, people were asking, do you need the crowd? As an athlete, no, we don't need the crowd. We weren't doing this for the crowd. No matter what your reason was for jumping in this, unless you were the Ken version of Ken and Ryu in Street Fighter 2, you didn't do it for the crowd. You know, we were martial artists doing this. So the crowd's not necessary. It would be much nicer because you can hear all your coaches.
Yeah.
Champion, and as an ambassador of one championship and wanted to promote martial arts throughout the world, I wish that the crowd was there so that they could see, believe, and experience those moments live. Because even though it's really cool on TV, bro, that vibe inside there with you is, there's no recreating that if you're not there.
Yeah, some of the best moments I've had. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
No. Keep going, Mike. Yeah, go ahead, Mike. What were you saying?
I think we're kind of saying the same thing. Some of the best moments I've had, aside from winning a fight, is that walkout. You know what I mean? Like that walkout to that crowd, and that's incredible feeling, man.
Yeah, and there's no way to explain it to people. You know, I tell them, oh, how is it? People always ask. So, Mike, this is what I tell people. How is it when you go inside there? What is the walk like? What is it like inside the circle? What is that like when they lock the door? I said, man, the only way I could describe it to you, okay, in a PG form, is let's go back when we were younger and people used to lie about having sex. Okay? So this is before everybody had sex, and there was always that one person in the group who did have sex who knew if you were lying because you had never had sex before, you know?
Yeah.
Like when you're trying to describe it and it's like this and it's like that, but you've never had it before, so you're really just guessing and you're trying to guess. Until you have had sex, you cannot describe or understand what it was like, you know, what it's like. Like, you can fake the funk, you can try to describe it, but unless you've actually experienced it, you'll never understand it.
Yeah. I'll say
Does
that
that make
it's
sense, Mike? So that's 100%. What I tell you. Unless you walk down that thing, unless somebody actually bolts you in, and they shut that door and they say, "You ready? You guys ready?" And it's just you in there until you do that. Then, man, I no matter what I say or how I explain it, it will never do it justice.
When I'm in there and like when I'm looking across, like when I first got in UFC and like sort of having the bigger fights, and like when you're in there and the lights are on, you feel that heat, the lights, you know, the crowd's around you, and you look across the ring and you see your opponent, he's staring you down. You're playing the mental game, like you're wondering, like, is he scared? You know, what's his game plan? What's he gonna do? You don't know, man. That's what makes it crazy. And then the announcer's announcing, and you're looking across, and you're just like in your head, you're thinking like, wow, like that you just can't explain. Like that's such a unique feeling of like, holy shit, man. Like this is it. This is like it, bro. Like it's like skydiving when you're like about to jump out of the plane. It's like, this is it, dude. Like I don't know what's gonna happen, but this is it. We're gonna know soon. Like there's definitely no going back now. So
Mike, I think that's been my most favorite. That's my most favorite one. What's happening? We're about to find out.
We're gonna find out for sure. There's 100% everyone will know, and unfortunately, we all know at the same time. So if it's not good, man, it's gonna be a shitty night for us all.
Yeah, Mike, that's probably the most perfect way I've heard that described. What's going on? I don't know. We're about to find out right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is perfect. That is perfect.
Because people don't realize, like, you can do all the strategy and all the game plan, all the research you want, but you really have, I mean, ask Masvidal or ask Askren against Masvidal. You really don't know what your opponent's going to do. He can do anything. So it's like when you're staring across the ring, you know what you want to do, you know your strategy, you know, and you know all that, but it's like you do have that moment of like, man, you almost feel lost but controlled, you know, because you're like, you really don't have control of the situation. You're going to have to, it's like, here's the best way to describe it for me. Like, I'm certified in skydiving. So when I jump out of the plane, you're killing yourself. Like you're destined for death. You have to save your life between the time you jump out of that plane and the time you land. So it's like when you get in that octagon, it's the same way, because like, you're destined to like have to face whatever this guy brings. So you're going to have to figure out what he's bringing, and you're going to have to defend it and then beat him to win this fight. You know what I mean? Like it's not like you're going to just walk out there and your training is going to just all of a sudden win the fight. Like you still have to like figure this guy out, land what you got to land, do what you got to do, and make yourself win. And so that pressure hits you right then, and it either pumps you up or it breaks you, one of the two. And I think that's the difference of the guys that make it and the guys that don't, you know?
And you know what, Mike, with you saying that, bro, like I think that's the saddest part of our sport. Seeing people broken.
Yeah,
By the
for
sport.
sure.
You know, like it's like so one of my most favorite movies in the 80s was Never Ending Story. And it goes back to this sport when the lead character Atreyu had to pass the Sphinx. He had to believe in himself, and then he had to look at himself in the mirror and face himself. Remember?
Yeah.
You remember that from that movie?
I remember most of that movie. I
But,
remember watching it a bunch of times.
That's that's our sport in a nutshell, and that happened in practice every day. You know, like we do that to each other every day, even if it's not sparring. Coach is doing it to us, or the number of reps and the time is doing it to us. You know, so we have to look at ourselves every day in the mirror. And there's a lot of guys who play the game well until you go from D level, C level, you get into the B level, but when you get into the A level, when you're starting to play with those guys, there's no days off, there's no easy days, there's no easy rounds, you know. So I've seen people get from here, and this sport's not forgiving, man.
No,
you don't get to take stuff back. So There's guys who've been here that should have stayed here, but they, people were goading them and, no, you're ready, you can do this. Yeah. Boom, they get here. And then
they're not ready.
Then you never hear from them again, That's the saddest part, I think, about our sport, man, is when the people get broken. And it's not just men, it's women too, It's just part of our sport, man. And I think out of everything, man, that's what I think my favorite part of this sport is because the people that are here, the people that are champs, the people who have made it, people who push through the muddy waters, those people, man, you can count on them. You can count on those people, man. Good times, Mike. Like you, look at you, Mike. What you doing? You basically took over Phuket. Like, man, everyone knows AKA Thailand now.
I'm trying, man.
Destination now, man. You're like in magazines now, bro.
I'm trying, bro. I'm trying, man. It's my dream, man. My dream is to create the gym, not just a gym. It's like a destination. It's an experience. It's an excursion. It's like the Hard Rock Cafe of gyms. You know what I mean? Like the cool spot to go. So that's my goal with this, and we're continuing to build out on that for sure. And like in going back to what you said too, like it's like you can never doubt. Like I think Henzo said it best when he was always saying how like the harder you train, the luckier you get. Like you have to have the confidence that you can do anything out there if you're mentally ready. I mean, nobody expected Khabib to knock down Conor with a punch. Nobody expected Gabriel Gonzaga to knock down Crow Cop with a kick. I mean, it's just there's crazy things that can happen that you can do. So it's like on top of what you already know you can do. So it's like once you get out there and face that fear, man, the sky's the limit. So it's like that's why fighting to me is just so mental. It's so mental. When you can accomplish that part, man, you can do anything. Like be a champion and be all crazy, crazy over 40 champion, man. It's crazy.
Dude, I learned this from Randy and Dan Henderson, Mr. Randy Couture and Dan Henderson. I take care of my body. I pay attention if I'm hurt. I rehab. When I'm in camp, I rehab every single day. When I'm not in camp, I'm still stretching every single day. Like I've never wanted to fight the hard fights. I've always wanted to fight smart fights, even if the guy that I was fighting was a hard fighter. Because there's no need to fight the hard fights. That's how you end up speaking slow later on, not being able to open gyms later on, not being able to function later on. So no matter what was happening in my career, I've always known that I didn't want to end up like some of the boxers from before our time. I've met some of them, so I knew I didn't want to be there. So man, taking everything in stride, the good, the bad, the ugly, rehabbing long, not speeding anything up, eating healthy, and dude, living this island life. I moved to the Philippines. We moved to the Philippines. And we haven't seen some of our friends since we moved to the Philippines and to Guam. When they saw us last time, they said, man, what are you doing? Because you look younger. Like, what are you guys doing? I said, man, we're just living that island life. We're living the good life. Mike, you still look 19. You know what I mean? Like,
it's a difference. It's a difference out here, bro. People ask me all the time, like, because, you know, you're in shape and you're tan and, you know, all these different things. And it's like, but there's a difference when you live on an island, man. You have the sun beaming down on you all the time. And it's that, like, when I go back to America, man, you know, the best way to describe it is like everything is so, they're so fast paced and like stressed out and like in a rush. Like you go to the grocery store and people are like, their carts are like, they're racing down the aisles and grabbing stuff and they're just like on drugs, you know, it seems like. And like on the island, bro, everything's just chill, you know, like there's no stress, you know, everyone's nice and friendly. You got great food, healthy coconuts and food right from the source. You know, you got the beaches and then you can train, like nice facility, obviously, best facility in the world, AKA Thailand.
In the world.
But yeah, so it's like it makes your body just happy and less stressful and just you can live a better life, I think, as far as overall healthy wise, you know, and so it's like until you experience it, like you said, it's hard to explain, but it's a good life, man. It's definitely a different life than the city life.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I understand why people say with island fever that they can't live on an island. No, I get that. This isn't for you. But don't ask how I got young, and then when you get the answer, be like, oh man, I can't. All right, then don't do it.
yeah. I don't.
Yeah.
I hear you, man.
Well, all right, okay then. So there was a thing here, man. I was going through a hard time in my life. The divorce, my divorce, you know. Mm-hmm. And when I first came to Guam, my friend was with me at the time, and we saw this sign. And little mama, what did the sign say? My friend is not my wife, by the way. So on the side of the wall by this beautiful view, when you come out here, I'm going to take you to the spot where I was at, and it said, "Create a life you do not need a vacation from." Yes. And dude, my head went sideways. Huh? No shit. All right. So then, you know, I never used my VA loan before from when I was in the military. So this is a U.S. territory. I could use my VA loan here. So I just started thinking long term. I started thinking about lifestyle, you know. And brother, I see you, how you're doing it in Thailand. I'm doing it in the Philippines and in Guam. Bro, the island life is for me. It's for me. It's for us. I love it. I love how you adapted, man. And my favorite thing about this, Mike, living on the islands, on both of them, is that we can give back. Because we can do so much. And of what we've got to accomplish, and you know what we do, who we are, we get to do a lot to give back to the islands. And I don't see you post about it, Mike. No, I don't post stuff, you know. But I know you're doing it. I know you're over there helping out when you can. So it's really, really cool, man. Because you're not just taking from the island; we're actually putting back in on all of them, you know. So it's a good feeling, man. It's a very fulfilling feeling.
It's funny, it's funny you mentioned that, but yeah, you're right, man, absolutely. And I'm not trying to look for like, you know, credit from all this stuff, but it's like when you build a company like I built. I mean, I have over 50 employees, and we built it in a village. You know what I mean? Like a
5-0?
5-0, yeah. So it's a 2-acre project, dude. And we're building a 100% exclusive 3-story building next. It's gonna be like beyond crazy, man. I'm talking helipad, ocean view, top. Penthouse, everything, dude. It's crazy. Yeah, it's going to be the most exclusive sports combat training facility, and it's on the AKA Thailand property. It's just going to be like divided now. So it's going to be the exclusive part, and then there's going to be the regular part. But when you build a company that, it'll be the same property. But when you build a company this big in Thailand, like what you said, man, there's a lot of things that we've done, and you know, you can't just come in and build such a big company and not help take care of people. So not only do I employ so many Thai people, but you know, you do a lot for that community. You know, you do a lot to help the people that are around that community. You know, we put in we extended the road and paved the road. It wasn't even a paved road to get back there. You know, we put in extra the power things.
Yes, sir. Power lines.
Yeah, but the big power box, whatever the hell, I can't think of what it's called. But the big power box, the transformers. We put in transformers. We put in extensive tunneling for the roads, like for drainage for the rainy season, and we've done like extra wells and things like that. But it's like, it feels good, man. And not only the stuff that you do that like to help people, but it's like just having this gym in general, bro. Like the people that come in, it's so exciting for me every day to see them, because they come in and they're so excited to get there and be there. And most of the people that come in are like, they're just excited to be a part of this, like, cool, that they see on Instagram, whatever gym. And they're just regular, everyday people that want to lose weight. Maybe they want to have a Muay Thai fight for the first time. A lot of business people, a lot of people that just are escaping their jobs. Not just fighters. We do have champion fighters like Manel Cap, who's a rising champ who just got signed with UFC. But we have so many. The majority of our people are people that are coming in to accomplish their goals and have a great experience. And to watch them lose 10 kilos and 20 kilos and be so excited and happy and leave us great reviews and to meet all these people and see all these stories. It's good that I can actually have a business where I can actually be successful and sustain and grow and make money from, that actually helps people. And like it does something good versus like the stock market or something where you're like having to like take from people to get successful. You know what I mean? It feels good to have a business that's helping so many people, and it's also a business. So that in itself makes it exciting to go to work every day, because I always meet a new person every day that I go in. I hear a new story, and I see new smiles and get new feedback. So it's really like selfishly gratifying for me. Like I enjoy, for my own ego and for my own pride of like, feeling good. I selfishly enjoy just hearing these stories and knowing that I'm doing something positive for people, instead of having a job that's, if you think about it, our jobs are to entertain people. Our whole careers have been entertaining and helping, you know what I mean? Like a lot of times I'm sure your fights have inspired people that have watched your fights, overcome fear, overcome probably health conditions or depression or just entertainment when they were down. So it's cool to have this, and to be in this realm. It's gratifying and rewarding. And so, like you said, like set up a life that doesn't feel like, a job that doesn't feel like work, and have freedom to do what you want to do and enjoy it, and that be your job. And that's what I've done, man. Like that, I could try to be a billionaire and try to do all this stuff to make all this crazy money, but work 12 hours a day in an office that I don't like. I know I know a lot of billionaires and millionaires and stuff, but they work from morning till night in offices, and they may enjoy their job and stuff, but it's not what I would enjoy. I like going to Bali, on any given time I want, or going to the Philippines for a week or something, or going to the islands and promote the gym. Everything I do promotes the gym, everything I do, training at my gym, living on the island, going to the beach. It's like I've created a life where I can have a good life and also have the freedom and be able to do the things that I want to do, in a post-career.
Because you weren't looking to get rich. You weren't looking to make money. You just went there with this dream and built upon it while helping everyone out, Mike. Yeah, congratulations.
It's got to start with thanks, man.
But I know that you were doing big things, and I know you were doing good things out there. Hell yeah, man. This is very cool to hear, man. Very, very cool to hear.
You just got to have passion in what you do, man, I think. And I think the people that really have the passion in their work, it shows, And I think just like fighting, we used to say when you fight, you'd have problems. You know how fight camps are, going through relationships and things like that. You have issues at home, and you have health issues. Sometimes you're sick. You have so many things come in the way. And so it's like you're always battling these things to get out there and have a good fight. But the thing we always say is at AKA, winning fixes everything. When you go out there and you win a fight, it fixes everything. So don't worry about like, oh man, how am I going to fix this problem? Or I owe this money, or I got to pay this off, or I got to do this, or I got to do that. Just go win that fight, and it's going to take care of those problems. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing when you have a business and you're an entrepreneur. Do something you have passion about that you're fired up for, and you'll put in 20 hours a day, and you won't even think it's work, but you'll be working 20 hours a day, 18 hours a day. And so
won't even be tired. Won't ever get tired.
It's what you want, man. It's what you want to do,
Yeah.
I got to get you out here.
Yeah, man.
I got to get you out here, bro. I got to get you out here and check it out and do some training, cruise the islands. And you're an island boy, so you'll appreciate it.
Yeah, I would absolutely love to. I've been wanting to take the missus, so we'll bring the baby next year for sure. I would love to hop the islands and just go cruise around with you there, man.
Have you done Thailand? Have you done?
I've been to Thailand. I've been to Phuket.
Oh, you have?
That's all the way south, right? That's the south part. Yeah, That's where I've been. That's my favorite part. I trained at Swick Camp. Is that place still there?
Swick, yeah. There was a stadium. I don't know if that camp is still there anymore, but There was
It
a
was in the middle
stadium.
of the island up in Phuket. Like
Yeah,
going from the bottom up.
there's like 60 gyms on this island, man. There's two big
Yeah,
gyms, us and Tiger, but then there's a lot of other gyms. And Suet had a stadium, and we used to have fights there at the Suet Stadium.
Okay. Very
So I don't
cool,
know.
man.
I'm sure the gym's still there. It just might not be crazy big. But the gym's
Yeah.
always just, or there's
No.
always once a gym, always a gym. It seems like here, but they just might not be as big as before. You know.
It's just no. Even when I went before, it's just a small one, man. Super small.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
man, I don't need to go anywhere else except AKA now. That's the only place I got to stop by in Phuket, Thailand.
Yeah,
So
bro.
place we need-
You're gonna love it, man. You're gonna love it, dude. We're gonna get some good workouts. Enjoy the
Yeah.
family. Go out on the boat. Check out the islands. The islands are beautiful, man. I mean, you know, you obviously see them all the time, but
But still, man, it's every time you see another set, it's even more beautiful than the last. You know, it's just
Yeah.
it never gets old. Never gets
Yeah.
old.
yeah,
Ooh, ooh.
yeah. I
Hold
hear
on
you,
one second,
man.
Mike. Hold on. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Promise. Yes, sir. Please, yeah, put it there. Yes, sir. Of course.
He's so
Of
nice.
course, thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Sorry.
sir. I've never heard a
Sorry.
fighter. I've never heard a fighter say yes, sir, more than Brennan Vera. Dude, you're the most sir. You're the most sir guy I've ever met in my entire career. You're always like, yes, sir, yes, sir. I remember like even in like England or something. Every time you saw me, we didn't know each other that well, but you're like, hey, what's up, Swick? How you doing, sir? And all that. And I'm just like, I felt so like inferior for you to call me sir. Like I didn't deserve it, you know. And I was just like, wow, he's such a nice guy, you know, so nice.
Well, Mike, you know, I grew up in the South, man, in Virginia. So it didn't have to be my family. It could be a stranger or somebody, or some older lady or uncle or somebody. If you didn't hold the door open for somebody, you could get slapped upside the back of your head if you didn't do it right. If you didn't say sir, ma'am, somebody was going to correct you, you know, like somebody was going to ask you. And it was a very, very Southern way of correcting you. They would come up to you and say, so, did you really let that old woman hold her own door open? Like, they ask you like that.
Yeah.
So it always became yes, sir, no, ma'am, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. So, and I really love the way people smile, Mike, when I call them sir and ma'am. I absolutely love it. I love it. And I even love when the people get mad and tell me don't call them sir because they're not old. I'm like, all right, then. Bye. Bye, Felicia.
Bye, sir. That's funny, man. Dude,
I appreciate that, man. That's funny.
that's awesome, man. Dude, man, thank you so much, man. I know you give me a lot of your time, but thank you so much for being on the podcast, man. Like, it's been so great catching up with you, and I want to have you back on, especially when this quarantine's over with and you get something going on and maybe a fight or whatever else you have going on and want to talk about, man. I can always have a great conversation with you for sure, man. I mean, there's no doubt
Whenever
about that.
Mike, call me, text me, whenever, Mike.
All right,
I'm
brother.
in. I'll just let one know that we're gonna do it at what date and what time, so it's easier.
Absolutely, man. And good luck with everything. And when they do get you a fight, I'm always in your corner, man. You know that.
Thank you, Mike. Blessings. I appreciate what you're doing, man. Stay awesome, brother. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you so much, man. I'll talk to you soon. All right, there you have it, Brandon Vera. Wow, what a great podcast. This is one of my favorite podcasts. I love talking to positive people and inspiring people, and he is just so full of energy every time I talk to him. Like he said, you know, we haven't spent a lot of time together, but every time we see each other, every time we've done events together or went to places together, it's always been just such good chemistry, positivity, inspiration. Just a great person. So it was great to have this conversation. I think that you guys probably took a lot from it. I mean, if for all you up and coming fighters, I think this is a must episode. I think definitely listen to what we said because there was a lot of good advice and a lot of good stories in there that like I've never told, that I don't think he's probably ever told. And it's stuff that you should definitely think about if you're going to be a fighter and you want to get through all those struggles, you know, because you can do it. It's possible. You know, you just got to have the right mental fortitude and the right mindset, the right energy, positivity, and you can accomplish your dreams, man. And you can do things like become the one heavyweight champion and win 10 UFC fights like I have and accomplish those things that you never thought were possible when you were younger, you know? So, I hope you took from it. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. If you are watching on YouTube, which you should definitely watch on YouTube and see us interact. I leave the camera on me on the split screen for the entire time I put myself out there. People are always commenting on why I'm like, I don't react sometimes, or I have weird reactions, or I look away to see something. But we have monitors and stuff where I can make sure that all the levels are good. Some of these actual Skypes I'm doing by myself, and then I send to my team to do the editing and do all this stuff. So I have to make sure that I have these big TVs with like the programs on there to make sure that all the mic levels are good, and that I'm not wasting my time talking and then it gets deleted, or it got paused, or it got stopped. It's interesting to watch us on YouTube, because you get to see two guys talk, especially this podcast, especially so inspiring, so motivational to see our reactions and how we interact, and you can see that chemistry that we were talking about. So yeah, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think about the podcast, who you'd like to see on the podcast coming up. We got a lot of great podcasts coming soon. Even in-house, we changed the studio, like I said last time. So we have a 3-part studio now. You can see the new changes behind me for the Skypes. We have a table here that's going to be great for our in-studio guests, which we're going to have an in-studio podcast coming really soon. And yeah, leave comments, subscribe to YouTube, subscribe to Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud. Follow us on all platforms. Leave us feedback. Hope you enjoyed the show, and I'll see you next time.